Welcome everybody to Teams calling webinar. My name is Gavin Keane. I'm the Managing Director of Cloud Made Simple, and also joining me today is Casey Gordon, who's our General Manager of Infrastructure, and is certainly an expert in Teams calling. So, without further ado, let's kick off. So, just going to go through the agenda for today. First, we'll go through some housekeeping. Then I want to talk about a few customer experiences that we've had in our deployments. Then Casey is going to go through the Teams calling and demo. So we're actually going to do a live demonstration of actually how it works in the back end. Then we'll go through the Teams pricing. Also wanted to talk about the inbound call pricing, because I think you'll find that very interesting. And then the next steps to get you on your way. So first of all, regarding housekeeping, you'll see on, and what we're using today is called live broadcast, which is a fantastic feature of Teams calling. So you can broadcast events. You'll see that there's the question and answer tab down the bottom there. At any time, people can just simply ask questions, and we will give your answers during the webinar. So please feel free to ask any question you like. I just wanted to talk about a few customer experiences we've had so far. So in the past 2 months since we've launched, we have deployed many companies onto Teams calling already. And I just want to share some of those experiences. So we've had one customer who has got, we've actually had 2 customers that have got staff in Manila. They've got some outsourced staff there. And during the COVID crisis, a lot of Manila staff couldn't actually get to the actual offices. So instead of setting up VPNs, etc., they were able just to use the Teams client to take calls directly. And that's been a fantastic benefit for those customers. Another customer who has a mobile workforce has been wrapped with a mobile application, so they can take calls directly on their mobile from Teams calling. So that they found that a great experience. And just another customer who was using a 3TX system and sort of old hardware, and has been able to sort of ditch all that and move to the web-based system and using headsets instead of handsets, and they found that really positive as well. So we've had some fantastic experiences already with customers. The feedback has been fantastic. So I hope your experience of that with Teams calling, just like ourselves, we've been using it now for over 6 months in its current format, and we run our business not only from a Teams calling perspective, but we run our business on the whole Teams platform. And we're not going to go through that today, but obviously the whole Teams platform is where you can do file storage and a whole lot more. And if you need more information about what Teams can do as an application, just let us know. We'll also go through, as said, the Teams pricing and the 1-300 and 1-800 and how the inbound works, and the next steps. I just wanted to share this graph with you, which is really impressive. So if you can see from July last year, 12 months ago, there was 13 million active users using Teams. Today there are 75 million active users using Teams. So the growth has been astronomical, especially obviously the whole COVID crisis has really spurred it on. So Teams is growing at a phenomenal rate, and Microsoft are investing so much in Teams, and there's so many new features coming out. Even in the last 2 months, there has been so many more features that have been developed and being launched. One of those is there used to be only 4 people on a screen. That's going to 9 very shortly, and then within the next couple of months, it's actually going to go to 49. So you'll be able to see 49 different faces on the Teams calling. The other big difference is the security. So there's been lots of, regarding Zoom, there's been lots of talk about them not having the strongest security protocols, but Teams calling and the whole Teams application security backend is first rate. But the best way to go through Teams calling is not me just talking about it, is to actually have a live demo of it and get the full back-end story. And to do that, we have Casey, who's an absolute expert on this. So Casey, I might hand it over to you to go through Teams calling.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Gav. So I'm just going to quickly run through a demonstration of Teams calling within the Teams desktop app, and also I'll show you how it works on the mobile phone. So I'm running this Teams on a remote desktop session, so the audio won't come through, so you can't hear the audio. But if that's the case and you want to hear the quality of the audio, just get in contact with us after, and we can show you a demonstration one-on-one. So with the Teams calling component, that falls under the calls icon on the left of the application. And you can see here we have speed dial, contacts, history, and voicemail, along with a dial pad down the bottom. So under speed dial, this is where you can list all your contacts that you frequently call or message. You can also add in here external contacts. So you've got suppliers that you needed added. They can be added in through the speed dial. Just simply clicking add speed dial and then entering in the name or number. You can create groups. So you can see I've got suppliers here, but you might be able to, if you had a group for your engineers, it's simple just to create a group, and then you can add specific contacts within those groups. In here also is the parked calls feature, and I'll come back to this because I'll chat about parked calls in a little bit. So that's the speed dial component, pretty straightforward. From here you can start video calls, normal audio calls, as well as chat. There's also contacts in here. You may not use the contact section too often. Most Teams users will use the main search bar at the top to find people. But if you do need to search for a specific number or an external contact, you can do that through here as well. And adding a contact is quite a simple process, just entering in the number. Just add one here. And then you can just fill in the details. So that's all pretty straightforward. Nothing you wouldn't have seen there. History is your call history from within the Teams client. And so in here, you're going to be able to see your incoming, outgoing, and missed calls. So you can see under the type here whether the call is incoming, outgoing, or missed, along with the duration. And if the number is a contact in your address book, the name will appear as well. If you click the three little dots, you're also able to call them back from here. So it's quick just to jump in case you need to call someone back that you previously just called or had a missed call. The next tab is the voicemail. Again, pretty self-explanatory. You'll be able to click in here and see what voicemails you have and be able to listen to them through the Teams client as well. You're also emailed a voicemail MP3 file. So if you're out on the road or something and need access to listen to it, you can get it as an email, but more than likely to have the Teams client where you can access your voicemails through as well. So I just wanted to show you as part of the voicemail component, up in settings, we'll go into the settings section in a bit more, but this part is specific to the voicemail. The ability to customize your voicemail based on your status or your out of office setting within Outlook. So you can see in here, we can record a greeting, which will set up a call and get you to record your voice for the greeting. And then we've got some call answer rules within voicemail, so we can let the caller record a message. We can transfer to someone else. You can end the call. You can play your greetings, end the call, and you can transfer the call completely to someone else. But this is the part I wanted to show you, is the text to speech. So I've just got some basic text in here at the moment. So the custom greeting is, sorry, I'm unavailable to take your call. And the custom out of office greeting is, I'm currently out of the office. And I've also got ticked to play that out of office greeting when I have my Outlook set to auto reply. So I just want to show you what the voicemail component, how that works normally. So I'm just going to call in to this Teams client. And we'll see if we can hear it. I'm just using my mobile. So we can see the toast notification down here. It pops up with my name because it's a contact in the address book. So I'm just going to let it ring out and go to voicemail.
Sorry, I'm unable to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone. When you have finished, please Please hang up or press the hash key for more options.
This is just a test. So we can see there that played the text greeting, which we'd set for the voicemail under settings, calls, configure voicemail. So we can see here, sorry, I'm unable to take your call. That's what she said. So I just want to show you how it works with this out of office auto reply, because it's quite a neat feature as well. So I've got the Outlook mailbox here open. We can see that the voicemail also came through as an email, but I'm just going to jump in and set this mailbox. It's a demo account. We're just going to set it to out of office. Automatic replies. Okay, so that's now set as out of office, and let's call the number again. It's still going to ring, but the greeting is going to be different.
I'm currently out of the office.
So you can see
Please leave a message.
it's just as simple as jumping in and setting that setting there, and based on your out of office. If you're on holiday or something and someone tries to call into a direct line, they're going to get notified that you're out of the office and to call in and get hold of someone else. So that's the voicemail component of Teams.
Case, can I just, we've just got a question, just going back on speed dial. So
Yep.
Person's asked, is the speed dial specific to a person, or is it across the organisation?
No, it's specific to a person. So each user will need to have their own speed dial configured.
Thanks.
No worries. And so the only other part within the Teams client here for the calling is the dial pad. You've all seen one of these. It's pretty straightforward. You can copy and paste numbers in here and call straight out from here as well. So let's go. Let's start. I want to just run through making a test call. So we'll call my mobile, so we can see what happens. Okay, so now we're in the call component. So we can see here that you can hover over the icon and you're going to be able to see the call details. And then down the bottom is your main option. So you've got the timer for the call. You can mute the call. You can bring up a keypad in case you're in an IVR that needs input. And then the three dots is the more actions where you're going to do most of your call control. So you're able to put the user on hold. So let's do that just to see what it looks like. So you can see it just pops up, says on hold, and you've got a resume button to bring the call back. So let's bring the call back. And the other options we have are transfer. So from here we can search to a contact that we'd like to search to transfer the call to. So for example, Brendan. So from here, he's selected automatically. We can either transfer straight to his work, which we'll call his Teams client. We can send him straight to Brendan's voicemail, or because Brendan has his mobile in the system, we can transfer the call through to Brendan's mobile as well. So I won't transfer that call now because I'd like to run through a few more things. So we bring this call back. So we can also park a call, which it's quite handy. There's a few reasons you might want to use park call. So what we'd do is you click park call, and you can see once it's parked up in the top right here, or sorry, top left, it's going to give us a park code, number 13. So that user's now hearing the hold music, and we're not on an active call. So where that's handy is if you've got a situation where you might have a warehouse announcement. So if you've got warehouse phones and a reception takes a call, parks the call, then goes over the warehouse PA and says there's a call for warehouse park call 13. Then they can jump on a common phone and pick that call up. Another another usage for it is if you've got an expert announcement. So if a call comes in and the receptionist is looking for some technicians, she can put it out to the group with the park call number and they can pick that call up. And the other useful feature, which I'll show you in a minute when I go through the mobile, is pulling the call. So if you're on your mobile and you're walking back to your desk and you want to sit down and take the call on your computer, you can park it and then pull it through on your Teams application. So it's good for transferring calls between different clients. So I'll just bring this call back. So number 13, so we can see to get to that on the desktop client, you go into speed dial, park calls. We'll bring back number 13, pick it up. And so the other piece that I wanted to show, which we use quite often, is the consultant transfer. So this allows you to transfer a call, but consult with who you want to transfer it to first. So for this call, for example, I want to transfer it to Brendan Keane. I'd go consult first, and that's going to bring up an option to either chat with him. So we can go, hi, Brendan, to see if he's available, and he can come back to us on here. So we've got the user's call is on hold, so they're hearing the hold music, and while we can check if Brendan's available. The other option to do is this call button up the top right. So I won't do it now because it's going to you won't be able to hear the audio. But if we click call, it's going to call Brendan. We can have that conversation with him and then transfer the call through. So similar to the direct transfer, we can transfer it to the work, the Teams client, the voicemail, or their mobile. And so we can stop consulting there as well. It's going to bring the call back. Also, we can bring in external participants to a call. So if you need an ad hoc conference, we can jump up here, we can bring people in. So again, if we wanted to bring Brendan in, we'll click Brendan, we can see it's going to start calling him and bring him in. Thanks, Brendan. I'm just showing the demo. So you can see here, we can also remove the participant if we need to. So another piece that I wanted to show you was the inbound call queues. So with Teams, you can set up an auto attendant, which gives you the options to press 1 for sales, 2 for support, and then go through to queues. So I wanted to show you what that looks like receiving a queue call. So I'm just going to hang this one up. I'm going to call into our main line on the mobile here. 2 seconds. So let's call this in.
Thanks for calling Cloud Made Simple, your IT consultant.
So I'm just going to go to the accounts queue because that's what this demo account is part of.
Thanks for your patience.
So you can see we've got a call toast down here saying the calls for accounts, so we know what the call is in relation to. So that's kind of handy feature to see. And what we also have there as well is you can set up another queue, so it stays in that accounts queue for say 30 seconds. If no one answers, then we can go to an overflow queue, which then it will pop up and say overflows, and you can have additional people in that call flow as well. So the call doesn't get missed, which is a really handy feature as well. Another little bit of feature that I want to show, and it is to do with Teams calling, but it's a slightly separate component, is the audio conferencing component. So that allows you to have, when you create a meeting and you select Teams meeting, if you've got the right license applied, it'll allow you to put an external direct in dial on that meeting so you can have external people call in. So I'll just show you what that looks like quickly. So you can see here in Outlook. So if we go new Teams meeting, so I've got the audio conferencing license applied. So you can see here it automatically adds this information, the direct in dial for Australian Sydney and the conference ID. So handy if you've got the situation where you've got sales guys that might be having conferences with the people that aren't using Teams, or they just want to call in on a mobile phone, or they're out on the road or something. It's handy to have that to create those conferences. And that DID number changes each time that a conference is generated. So that's, I guess, not Teams calling exactly, but it's part of the calling functionality that you may need.
Case, we have a couple of questions, if you wouldn't mind. So,
yeah,
one of them has asked, a person has asked, they've currently got a VoIP system and they can dial from Hobart on a local Brisbane number, so it makes it look like I'm calling from a local number. Is that possible?
It is, but it's not within the Teams component. That's set up within the carrier component. So it's possible. It is a little bit, I guess, different maybe than they're using at the moment, where you'd have to have prefix numbers on the number you're dialing out. So yeah, definitely possible, but that's not through the Teams component. That's on the carrier side, which we can do as well.
Another question we have, when transferring a call, like Casey's example with Brendan, if he's not at his desk, can it be set up to ring his mobile automatically?
Yep. So I'll quickly show you how that works. So say Brendan is heading out, or he goes away from the office from his desk a bit, in his settings section for calls. So we've got here call answering rules. So it's got calls ring me, and you have also ring. So you can also ring a call group, which is a group of users, or a new number or contact. So we can put in there maybe his mobile or something as well. So that can ring him as well. Or if he does step away, he can click forward calls, and he can forward them out to a call group, or a new number, or another contact within the organisation as well.
Awesome.
Does that answer that part?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I just want to run through one last part of the actual Teams client, and that is in the settings where we are. So I guess we've kind of touched on these call answering rules. So how calls are transferred, if you're available, not available. We've got a timeout section here as well. So how long they ring you for before we say go to voicemail or transfer to another number. We'd gone through the configure voicemail section, which is quite easy to set up. It's all done through the Teams client. And then you can also have different ringtones if required. So direct calls can be a certain ringtone, but if you have forwarded or delegate calls, they can be a different ringtone, so you can identify them without having to look at it. And so another part here is call queues. So like I just mentioned, the accounts queue that we have, we can set users to be able to either sign in or sign out of those queues, or remove that ability. So you can see here, I've got one example of each. So the accounts queue, this user can sign out if they want, and they'll no longer receive calls from that accounts queue, and they can sign back in. So it might be they're off for lunch, or end of the day kind of thing, or just busy and they can't take certain calls, they can sign out of the queue. If you don't allow that setting, so for example, this overflow queue that we have, they'll see this option, so they can't sign out of it, so they're always in. And we'll go into the call queues in the Teams configuration center in a second to see what that looks like on that side. But for the end user side, this is what it looks like. I just wanted to also show you now the Teams client on the mobile app. So let me just bring this up. I'll bring this over so you can see it. So we can see here on the Teams client, we've got the calls section down the bottom here. You'll be able to see me clicking that. We've got the history, so we can see who we've called. We've got our voicemail here, so we can check our voicemails. And also, you can call from the actual phone contact list. So if you need to, you can click a user in there and call, and also search a user from within here to call. To make a call from here, it's the little purple icon down the bottom right. So if we click that, it'll give us a dial pad to be able to make a call. We can search for people in here. If we needed to say search for Gavin, so we can see Gavin's here. We can make a video call or an audio call from here. in this part is also the parked calls. So what I'll do is I'll show you a demonstration of how that works. Let me just make a call to do an inbound call actually from a mobile.
Press 1. Thanks for your patience.
So the call will come into accounts. So I'll grab it on the desktop. And so we've got that call. We've got to park it. So you can see the top left, sorry, code number 14. And then back on the mobile, back in the purple call button. So maybe it's 13. Oh, sorry, it's not going to let me do it on my phone because I have I'm calling from my phone. So if I wasn't calling from my phone, that would pick up that part call and move it to my mobile phone. So if I needed to go away from the desk with a call, I could. So yeah, sorry, I can't show you that because I'm making the call from my phone. So that's the main components of the actual Teams client for the mobile and on the desktop component. I'll just show you what a call looks like coming in on the mobile.
Just before you do that, I think sort of one of the benefits of the Teams calling is having this feature-rich phone system is also it's part of the Teams application. I know we're not going to go through file storage and whatever, but if you quickly just demonstrate just on the left-hand side there about the calendar, how that obviously integrates with Outlook, and you've got your Teams on the left-hand side and the files and so forth. So if you could just spend like 15 seconds, just click on a few of those buttons just to see that.
Yeah, sure. So calling is just one small component, I guess, of the whole Teams application. A lot of you are probably already using Teams for your internal instant messaging and video calls, and so the calling component just extends that. But if you aren't using Teams, so your activity section just can show you voicemails, missed calls, any mentions that you may be getting within a team. So if Gavin mentioned me in a team or a file, I'd receive this in here. Chat is where we can have chat with people inside and outside our organisation. So we have a few customers that just chat to us directly on Teams to get some help. You can also create groups within chat, which is what we find really useful. So we'll have a management group chat, a technical group, and then anything that's relating to everyone within that group we just place in there, and it's persistent, so it's always in there, so you can go back through it as well, which is really handy. Teams, so these are all the different teams that you'd have available that you'd create, and this may follow your organizational structure. So that might be finance, marketing, sales, engineering, and then within those Teams components, you can have files that relate to that, as well as all your chats and meetings and any screen sharing sessions. They're all recorded. We can set them to record, and they're recorded within those teams, so they're easy to go back and view. Calendar, I guess this is a demo account, so there's nothing in here, so it's not showing you an awful lot, but in here is your calendar. So this, like Gavin said, syncs with Outlook. So all your meetings appear in here, and if they're Teams meetings, you can just join directly from within here. So I actually don't use my Outlook calendar anymore. I just use it through Teams. Files, again, so if you've set up with SharePoint, the SharePoint files are available in here. If you do SharePoint and you sync it to Teams, you can have them appear as Teams channels, but you can also, view your personal OneDrive storage and the bits and pieces through here as well. Then Teams, you can also have other apps. So there's Planner, which you may have used, OneNote, Shifts. Microsoft are doing a lot of work on that's around frontline workers and organising rosters and time off and group announcements and other bits and pieces. But Microsoft and other third-party developers are always developing new applications for this. So you may be using a cloud application already that has some type of Teams integration. So you can see here in this app portal, there's a lot that you can plug into Teams already. So is that
that's awesome. That's awesome. And we just got one other question is, can you create contacts at a company level? So those contacts would be across all users or within a team?
I'd have to have a look. There is a section in the Teams Admin Center for global contacts. We haven't deployed that yet. So if we can grab a contact number for that question, we'll let them know by the end of the day. We're still just playing around with that part of it. So we haven't deployed it yet, and there's been no need, but there is a section in the Teams Admin Center, so we need to see what that is capable of.
All right, well, we can get back to that. And sorry, we're having lots of questions. Another one is it possible to have a warning come up on multiple people's monitors if a call has been parked for a certain amount of time, like a warning to say, this person's waiting?
It won't be a warning. It'll just, you can set a timeout. So I'll show you in the admin center, you set a timeout for a park call, and then they'll go back to the original person that parked it.
Great.
Yep. All right. So I think I was just about to jump into the back end of Teams Admin Center. I just want to see if there's anything else I need to touch on here. Oh, sorry, there was. I was just going to receive a call, show what it looks like receiving a call on the mobile application. Actually, we'll just make a call. It's the same interface. So let's call. So again, this is just our 1300 number.
For sales, press 2. For marketing and website.
So in here, you can see the same options of muting. You've got your speaker settings, and then also the same settings from within the desktop client on a call. So you can put the call on hold, or transfer, or park it. So we wanted to park it and pick it on the desktop. We can do that through here as well. You can also add in external contacts to this if you needed to. So that's the mobile client. It works really well. The video as well on both the desktop and mobile client are first class. So if you've used Teams video, you'll know how good it is. So this all just extends that component, I guess. All right, so I'm going to jump into the back end quickly so we can have a look at the configuration settings. So let me just jump in here. Need to grab these. So is there any other questions at the moment, Gav?
No, that's good. So we're going to have a quick look at the reporting, and then and look, if anyone wants a personal one-on-one demo, more than happy to do that. As you can see, it's a pretty detailed sort of product, and so we're just giving you a brief overview of it. But more than happy to go on one-on-one. As everyone can see here, we have a very secure environment.
Okay.
We have got one more question that's just come in, which says, can you have a free Teams license for a team member that doesn't make any outbound calls?
You can have, there is the Teams licensing, which is, you can have a free Teams license, but they won't be able to have any calling capability. So they won't be able to receive inbound calls or receive transferred calls unless they're enterprise voice enabled.
And I think, and I'll go through the pricing and and show everybody how it works. So it's not a per user model. It's based on SIP trunks, but I'll go through that when we talk about pricing in a minute.
Yep. So this is the back end of the Teams admin center. So call queues are the queues that we have set up, so support, sales, etc. So in each one, you can set up. So a resource account is how Microsoft deals with assigning it a direct in-dial number if needed. So that's set up there. You can have a greeting when the caller enters each queue. You can set the music on hold here. And a thing to note about the music on hold is when users are in a queue, they can hear custom music on hold, but once the call is answered and the agent puts the caller on hold, they're going to hear the default Microsoft music. It's just the way it is for the moment until Microsoft make that change. The call answering section is where you set up who is in this queue. So we've got a group called queue accounts. So everyone in that group is going to receive those calls. You can also add individual users to this component if you want. So it's just as simple as going add users and searching for them. So we're going to want to add Gavin to this queue. It's just as simple as going add and adding them in. Conference mode's a new feature. It's come out maybe in the last 2 weeks. So currently on a call queue coming in, when an agent answers a call queue, there's a 2 or 3 second delay from them clicking answer to them being connected with the call. The caller doesn't hear anything. They continue to hear the whole music like nothing's happening, but it's just that you click answer, 2 or 3 seconds, and it connects with the agent. This conference mode is Microsoft's way of getting around that. So with that enabled, it will connect the call right away. The downside of that we found at the moment is you can set like a do not disturb feature. So when a user is on a call and another call comes in on that queue, they don't receive notification because it plays in their earpiece, and if they're trying to talk to someone, it can be quite annoying. So if you enable that conference mode, that seems to stop that feature. So that's what we found at the moment. So it's only been released in the last couple of weeks, so that's something they're probably still working on. The routing methods, so attended routing is to call everyone, so a blast, so everyone in this queue accounts group is going to get called at once. Serial routing is they call through one by one. Round robin is it'll try to distribute the calls evenly based on the amount of time they're on a call and how much time they're online. And then there's the newest call routing method, which has only been released in the last week, I believe, which is longest idle. So how that works is it'll send the call to the person that has been available and not taken a call for the longest period of time. So that's a handy one as well. You can turn on and off presence-based routing. So if that is on, it won't call people that are set to busy or away or do not disturb. It'll only call people that have their presence set to available. The agents opting in and out of taking calls, that's in that settings I showed before where you could toggle to jump in and out of a queue. So that's what controls that section. And on the Teams client as well, sorry, on the mobile client, I forgot to show you, you can control if you're in and out of the queues as well, because you might find someone leaves work with their mobile still and they're still in a queue, and then the mobile starts getting calls. So within settings and calling in the mobile app, you can see it takes a few seconds to load up, but down the bottom it'll display the accounts and overflow, so you can sign in and out of queues from the mobile app as well.
Okay, so going through all this, it just shows you if you take up Teams calling, you're also future-proofing your business, because the amount of development, and it's not like you buy this phone system and you're stuck with this. So it's going to keep evolving as Teams evolves. Yeah,
it's Microsoft's flagship consumer product. There's always new features coming out with it. Every time we log into the back end to make a change, there's something new in there. So, and it is the features that are available are good for a small business, but there are still a lot of features that aren't available in it, after call surveys and a few other bits and pieces. But with enough demand, Microsoft will develop those. So, like you say, it's not a stagnant system. It's got a big team of software developers behind it, so they'll be continually updating it.
Right, we might, if there's any other quick features you want to show, but we want to sort of wrap it up the next 5 or so minutes. So is there any other thing you want to quickly show? Maybe just the back-end reporting?
Yeah, yep. So I'll just jump in quickly to the end user reporting. So up here under users, we'll go into me. So we can see this call history in here, and we can see basically the calls for the last 7 days, how many meetings, how many calls, the duration. So we can see each call in here. If we wanted to, we can kind of click in and get a bit more detail. But this is more for troubleshooting calls, so you probably won't need to go into this level of detail. There is also a call analytics reporting within usage reports under this one. Again, but very, very basic sort of reporting at the moment, and that's something that Microsoft have earmarked to better develop their reporting capability, because at the moment it's almost like just a CSV of the call records. So that's something they are working on, but it is available there if you need it. So that's most of the technical stuff. Again, like Gav said, if there's something you want specific information on, just give us a call and I can jump on and do a screen sharing session with you one-on-one.
Okay, so I think you've demonstrated your knowledge of team calling is superb. So thank you for going through that. And as Casey just said, reach out, got any further questions. So I'm just going to go back now to okay, just going to take this over, Case. Casey, I think you've got to allow me to take that over.
All right, I'll stop sharing.
Beauty. So I'm going to go there. All right, so everyone should see this now on the pricing. So if we go through what does it cost to get set up, etc. So first of all, you need an Office 365 E1 or E3 license. But I'm about to make a presumptive announcement. There are strong rumours going around that in July that Microsoft will be launching Teams calling on the new Microsoft Business Plan, which is a plan that includes your business premium, but also includes all the security features. So it used to be called the old M365 plan, but that's going to be a sensational thing, because not only has it got Teams calling part of it, it has all the security features included, like Intune, like ATP. So, Case, did you want? Is there a few other little?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's also got the P1 license, which gives you conditional access. So people logging in, you control a bit better. But the main one of that is Intune, which is the device control and management, which is Microsoft's big push to move away from group policy or server-based deployments. So they're making a hard push to use Intune as a way of controlling end user devices rather than having an on-site domain controller with group policy. So that's a really big in.
Yeah. So as soon as we get confirmation, that we'll let you know. But that's just great news. You also need a Microsoft Teams voice license, and they're $11 each. Then you need some SIP trunks, and a SIP trunk is basically an internet connection, but it's the amount of them depends on how many concurrent calls your business is likely to take. Now, included in the SIP trunks is your call costs. Now, they're $60 per SIP trunk, but it includes all your calls except international calls. Also, is your 1300, 1800, or 0800 inbound call charges. Now, with some of the customers that have come across, we've done the comparisons on this. We're saving some customers up to 70% on what they're spending today on inbound call charges. So it's really competitive pricing when it comes to inbound call charges. And the only other thing you need is your DIDs, which are 35 cents each, and they usually come in blocks of 10 or 100. There is a one-off fee. It's normally $1,500. It will be as of 1st of July, but if you sign a contract between now and the end of the financial year, we're staying with the special of $500, but that will be going up to $1,500, and that includes the porting costs, training, and the back-end configuration. So what are the next steps? If you like what you're seeing, you can do a couple of things. You can get in contact with us. We can give you a formal quote. We just need a copy of your existing telecommunications bill, and we can organise that pretty quickly. Porting takes, to get to the full port, takes 6 to 8 weeks, but there's something called a fast port, which basically means you put a diversion in place from your existing carrier to the teams or to the new DIDs. There is a small cost involved from your existing carrier to do that, but it means you can get up and running pretty quickly, and we can deploy teams within 48 hours, so it's pretty quick to get up and running. That's about it, really. So if you've got any other further questions, please reach out to us. It's a sensational product and only getting better and better. If there's no further questions, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. We'll be sending this presentation out to everybody that's registered, so you'll have that. Yeah, and again, thanks for joining us, and thanks, Casey, for your time.